Hi, welcome to our featured member interview. Today I have Rose Miller of Rose Knows Where It Goes with us. Rose is an award-winning professional organizing specialist. She works with clients to create individualized, sustainable solutions to keep their lives and homes organized. She gently encourages clients to lean into editing their life through the decluttering journey by coaching them to let go of what no longer serves them. She is a public speaker and returning organizing expert for local and national media outlets. Welcome, Rose.
Thanks so much.
You're welcome. I'm so glad to have you here with us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's been an honor to be your friend for a very long time and wonderful strategic partners and listing houses together. So thank you for the opportunity.
Of course, I feel the same way. Can you expound on your bio a little bit? Tell me about your business.
So my business is a full service home organizing and home staging company. I feel as though I kind of help people lean into this comfort of letting go and creating lives and homes only filled with what they love and find resourceful. And I think the staging piece comes into effect that you stage your home, you stage your life, and the purpose of what you're trying to do. And I think I jump mostly into the mindset shift of this is a home that you're presenting to sell, and this is no longer your home. So really, I feel like a lot of my work comes from mindfulness, mindset shift, and encouraging people to live on purpose.
Oh, I love that. How did you start your business?
Well, about part of the reason I started my business is to be more present in my own life, right? So I say that life is the masterpiece. It's not the stuff to edit frequently and often and ruthlessly, and kind of just challenge yourself. And I believe that I had Luke and Logan and kind of clear expectations on what I wanted for them. As soon as we had a baby, we're like, let's start saving for college. What are our intentions? And, the idea of how we would like to raise these young men. And I felt like I needed to set my bar a little bit higher and be more present in my life and control my schedule. So I think Rose Knows Where It Goes came out of the fact of creating my own business and using my teaching degree to help coach people through the clutter. And I think how the idea of my business started came from wanting to be more present in my own masterpiece.
I love that. So did you start your business working with realtors, or did you enter through a different avenue?
So absolutely not. I mean, it just kind of grew into that. And I think you just think about any business that you start, you grow upon it, right? So, okay, let's start a business. I need to figure out how to put a website together. And when you first start, it's not like you can just go hire all of these, where now if I had a social media manager, I'm in a position to do that but when you first start, you just learn by doing.
Uh-huh.
And very early on, I realized that, home staging can absolutely be a part of this. And so connecting with so many local realtors and obviously you being one of them. And then just kind of jumped into the home staging piece because anytime I help people edit the world around them, when something is beautiful, you respect it more, you take care of it a little bit more. And every space we edit, we always leave inspired. So if a space is inspired and you love it, it stays that way. Sometimes you look at it from the regard of, if the boys would play baseball, we'd be like, you know what, I'll get the car washed after the baseball season because what's the point? The clay is going to build up on the floor again, but after you clean it and edit it and get rid of what no longer serves you, you respectfully take more care of it because you invested your time and it's now a space that's only filled with what you love and find resourceful, but also a strong flow and functionality. Sometimes if a space, is just a spare bedroom, but it's also an office. There's just too many categories. So, the biggest root of clutter is the procrastinated decision on what to do with it. So you don't get rid of it. Just throw it in the spare room, throw it in the garage, the basement, or the attic. Sometimes we're generally procrastinating the decision to get rid of it, or there's not really a system in place for what you're trying to find a home for.
Yeah. So how do you teach people to overcome the procrastination?
So I think that, I always say the biggest thief of joy is comparison, and we're inundated with too much stuff. We're inundated with Facebook and how everybody's life is, and we're just seeing just the blanket of what people want us to see, right? So I think my biggest piece is honing in onto someone's learning style. And the biggest thief of joy is comparison. So it's very important to customize the world to suit you, right? So creating solutions that best fit the learning style. If someone's a visual learner, they do need the reminders around them, and piles are helpful, but you have to now make that pile vertical, and you need to color code the system, and you need to check things off of your list. And somebody who is more compartmentalized, their system's going to be different than someone, or a kinesthetic learner constantly seek movement. So it's really implementing the solutions to be sustainable for the individual, and that really happens through the editing piece, or it doesn't take me very long to walk into someone's space and see how they learn, or understand their learning style. That, it could be as something as, yesterday I was in a little girl's room, or not little anymore. She was little when I first started working with her. Now she's going into 9th grade. Wow. And a lot of it had to do with, there was a dresser to the left, there was a dresser to the right. And it had to do with creating a t-shirt fold so she could visually see all the t-shirts, because you're generally only wearing the first 4 if you have a flat fold in a drawer.
Got it.
And then hanging some of her pieces, as so I think sometimes it's people need the help. It's an appointment, and it's not that they don't know how, but I think we get stuck in our own routine and methodology and kind of just surviving. There's a lot on kids these days, as you know.
Sure. And it's interesting to me that you customize the organizing method for the client, because each one of us, you're right, does have a different way of viewing life. So I was particularly interested in your pile comment, because
Right.
I'm a visual person. And so I do have piles. And just selfishly, can you explain to me what you mean by making a pile vertical?
Well, so then you would just need a desktop file, because if you're going to put it in a file box, you no longer have the visual field. So, your first file should be an action file.
Got it.
And then, you're not only the CEO of your home, you're the CFO of your home. So you're both, and then you have your own company, right? Yeah. So you have many, many different avenues that Natalie's being stretched upon. So you have the 3 children, you have 1 in college, you have a really brilliant business, and other brilliant businesses that, your husband now manages. And so I think that we're like spinning tops. We're just constantly shuffling and juggling. And the action file is very important to the visual learner, because you have to go through it. You have to remember to do it, right? Yeah. And then really just allocating 1 day a week to go through all of the piles, because the biggest piece to keep something sustainable is the edit. The stuff is only going to pile up, and then life will only pile up. So if you don't have the reminder to do it and the system in place, it's going to fall down again. Right?
Good habits are really the key to success. So I like how you say that we should schedule 1 day a week to go through that folder or file or pile, however
or
you
anything,
happen to
whatever
to
builds up, right?
Right?
It's just life is ever evolving. So is this stuff. So you do have to edit frequently, or it's going to be clogged up. It's just like a rock in a dam. The dam will build up if you don't push through. And sometimes the hardest part is just getting started. But kind of, even with the idea of scheduling media. I think the other day you mentioned to me keeping a calendar, right? And then
Yep.
scheduling the content,
Yep.
but really staying true and authentic to your brand and what you're putting out there, and your followers and your vibe. But when we write something down, we manifest it into fruition.
Mm-hmm.
And many times, some of my clients, it's not that they don't know how. It's just when you have an appointment,
Mm-hmm.
you put it on your calendar, you manifest it into fruition, you make the time to do it. And then, it's the same reason why somebody would hire a personal trainer. It's the accountability coach, right? It's the person that is kind of going to hold your hand, push you beyond your comfort zone. And, everybody would say, oh, you're going to make me get rid of everything. And I said, that's not my job. That's your job. My
Yeah.
job is to help you walk through the edit.
Mm-hmm.
And ownership and accountability creates sustainability. So if I come into anybody that way, that is so not my approach.
Uh-huh.
The approach should be that they have to take ownership to whatever stuff you're editing through, whether that's internal clutter or external clutter. But, our home is sometimes reflective of who we are.
Mm-hmm. And you really have a talent of walking into any situation and quickly reading the personality of your client or whomever happens to be in the room, and find a way to communicate with them so that they don't feel offended or hurt or pushed
Right.
in any way. It's really quite amazing to watch you work with people, because
Thank
something
you.
that might have taken that person years to get through, or someone like me might not be able to get through to them as easily, you walk in and you're able to get them working without them even realizing that they're working.
Well, and I think that what I love the most, even when I do work with realtors,
Mm-hmm.
I will always be a realtor's cheerleader. I think they really have the hardest job. That's to sell the home.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an honor for me that they entrust my wisdoms and mindset and approach, that I can have the delicate conversations with them and
Mm-hmm.
their clients, and, you know, um, taking the red off the walls, or lovingly packing up the roosters, or, and lovingly just packing up your awards, trophies, accolades, political mindset, whatever that may be. It's sometimes very much a delicate conversation, right?
Yeah.
So, and the realtor's job is to sell the house. So sometimes I'm more than anything honored that a realtor entrusts me with their client, to help the person edit and stage the home,
Mm-hmm.
and create momentum. I think I'm an efficiency expert, if you will, of listing a home. So from beginning to end, it's the decluttering, it's the staging, packing, as well as a major clean out. Like, many times you don't want a dumpster in the driveway. So, my company can also do major clean outs as well. And the truck has been designed that half can go to donate and half can go to recycling or a transfer station.
I love that. When you and I had worked together with one client in particular, it was important to them that you donated a lot of their belongings.
Right.
So I like how you incorporate that
I do. I
into the
think sometimes,
business.
no matter how you look at it, if it's a senior downsizing opportunity, it's years of abundance and it's
Mm-hmm.
years of opportunity. And I think it's an honor to walk through people's stuff, and you really have to be loving and kind about it. But more times than not, it's easier for them to do if they realize that it can serve somebody else. I
Yeah.
mean, we're surrounded by amazing charities in this area. I mean, you could take your rags to Nova Thrift Shop and they recycle the fabric. You could take any of your old rags to many of Lulu's Rescue or any of SPCA. Souls for Souls takes one shoe. I
Yeah.
mean,
Huh.
so I think that, even I did a Channel 6, I did a segment on waste and overconsumption, and
Mm-hmm.
the importance of your psychological purchasing power. And a lot of it is just checking your ego at the door, right? Do we really always need the next, the best? This still
Yeah.
works.
Yeah.
So how to mindfully upcycle, recycle, and make money on your clutter even.
I love that. So you mentioned that you were in Channel 6. Can you tell our viewers how you got there? I know a lot of people are interested in PR, but just aren't sure how to bridge the interest to action.
Well, I think the biggest piece is, you know, what you put out comes back.
Mm-hmm.
It's engagement. It's
Uh-huh.
really not complicated. Many people are like, what PR firm do you work with? And there's so many amazing PR firms that I could recommend for sure. I have not worked with a PR firm. I just, these opportunities came from online engagement through Facebook, Instagram. I had the honor of meeting Alicia through Instagram,
Uh-huh.
and we have done multiple segments for ABC Action News.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure more to come. And then Fred from Fox 29 and all of the opportunities with Karen Hepp or anybody from Fox 29 also came from Instagram. And Channel 3 was just a wonderful opportunity that came from goodness.
Mm-hmm.
I did a career wardrobe clothing drive
Uh-huh.
with Candace Yeager, who
Uh-huh.
I think you're going to meet shortly.
Yeah.
And so Yuki Washington and Jim Donovan and Tracy Davison and Marilyn Russell, just various contacts I have, donated so much clothing to Career Wardrobe. And I had just sent Jim a message, and I said, I think that we could really spotlight this in a bigger way, you and Yuki and even Gray Hall.
Uh-huh.
So it was a anybody that I had contacts with that would have beautiful clothing for a career opportunity for the next, really donated tremendous donations. And so Jim was able to showcase Career Wardrobe and the importance of how when we let go of what no longer serves us, how it gives someone else a come up, right? I mean, we have linen closets that are overflowing and closets and filled with, I may fit into that someday, but you're systematically starting every day with regret if your closet's filled with, I may fit into that someday. So, when we let go of what no longer serves us and we share our abundance, we're letting go what is blocking us. And, hopefully when you do donate your abundance, the abundance you seek comes in. I
Well, and
swear
it
by
certainly sounds like it. A lot of these media outlets are looking for content because they
it.
need to publish content on a daily basis, sometimes multiple times a day. So they're always looking for people to interview or people to bring on the show. It also
Right,
helps that you have a career that's demonstrable, so you can show people online or on TV how to do certain tasks.
right,
But I also think that it was extremely brilliant of you to tie in the donation aspect of it as well, the charity aspect,
right.
because a lot of these media outlets want to highlight charity situations. So you had a good advantage there.
Well, I think I always say I live my life the way I want my obituary were written, and I think that really you should never miss the opportunity to lift as you climb, and really sharing your abundance, and even just certain clients that I love and am proud of to help. That came a lot from charity and giving, and the opportunity to do so.
Yeah, I love that. I know that's a very important aspect of your life and your business. So thank you for everything that you do.
No, thank you.
So, how did you, to go back to how you got into working with realtors? I know you saw a need for it. Was it because you worked with someone and you saw the need, or did someone reach out? How did you make that pivot?
Well, I mean, I had multiple clients that I just started staging for. So not our realtors
Got it.
only. I'm not going to sell anybody's house, right? So I help. One of my favorite titles is senior downsizing, right? So I've worked on so many different homes that
Uh-huh.
I had to declutter and downsize and stage that it was just such a natural move. I can't sell a home, so I need realtors to do that, right?
Okay.
So I just helped this client get their home ready for the market, so I needed realtors to be able to do that.
Got it.
Right?
So
So
now you actively market to realtors because you realize that, that's how the food chain works. I call it the food chain.
right,
You
finally,
realize that the realtors are going to refer to you, and that's an easier path than contacting the client directly, which in some
right,
cases, I'm sure you do contact a client directly as well.
right. So or I'll just have clients that contact me to help them. They're like, well, we're about a year out. We don't have a realtor, but we know we've read and more than one person has said, oh, we read an article or a post that you wrote about how if you're ready to list your home, you really to do it mindfully, it takes start a year ahead of time, right? So you're
Yep,
not overwhelmed. Come have a plan.
that's right.
Right. And so I think it is really important, the content that you put out or the impression that you leave, right? So
Absolutely.
the home staging just was a perfect segue into my company, and I've been doing it for many years at this point. I think this year I had a successful year, and I looked where's the growth? Where can I be stronger?
Uh-huh.
And that would be working more locally, right? I
Okay.
think my huge territory, obviously, we grew up in Lambertville and West Stamwell.
Mm-hmm.
So Hunterdon County, Mercer County,
Yeah.
my family's originally from Trenton, New Jersey. So
Mm-hmm.
um, those are my two biggest territories. Bucks County, obviously, and Philadelphia Main Line is also a larger territory for me that I ended up with great, notable, wonderful clients that just kept sending me more, and they were all in the mainline Philadelphia area. So where I thought I could improve upon is it's not hard to sell something you love, right? So staging a home in Doylestown is an amazing opportunity. One, it's close, and two, I love supporting realtors. I'd like to support more local realtors in listing homes effectively and efficiently, and
Mm-hmm.
beating the timeline, helping their clients get those homes market ready, and ultimately equaling sold. I mean, we
Yeah.
work together. You know that some houses are not always easy to do, so you need the plan, and you need the edit, and you need the timeline.
Right. So you have a pivot happening in your business right now, and that's more of a location type of pivot
Mhm.
versus a services pivot.
Right.
What are some of the roadblocks you're coming up against during this pivot?
Well, um, let's see. I would just say that I've been doing it for a really long time, so I feel like I have an idea of what I have to offer,
Uh-huh.
and navigating that and reaching um, and supporting local realtors,
Hmm.
right? So I don't know how to best explain.
Yeah. Well, I guess what I'm trying to ask is a lot of our members are either new at business
Right.
or they're in creative businesses. So um, we all have roadblocks that we hit in our business, or we all have challenges that we have to overcome in our business. So I like that we have the opportunity to talk about it
Sure.
and share our experiences as well as our advice. Or if you don't have advice, just to put it out there so that people realize that they're not alone, that this
Yeah,
is
I mean,
something that all of us as business owners deal with.
and I think that's a great question in any regard, is that it's just staying true to yourself.
Mhm.
Don't you know so many firms already have home stagers. So many firms
Right.
already have established companies that they work with. I feel like if you're forcing it too much,
Mhm.
go elsewhere.
Mhm.
Like if it doesn't fit, it's not supposed to.
Mhm.
And doesn't I'm not saying give up. You keep
Sure.
moving forward, right?
Sure.
And it's not hard to sell something you love. I
Right.
love what I do. I know what I have to offer. Um, and I guess maybe the roadblock is that there's already we're in a mecca of amazing realtors, right?
Mhm.
That how they serve their clients, and um, I think it's as simple as the laws of attraction, right? So
Mhm.
just as you and I work so perfectly together, it's
Mhm.
because to the core, our values are the same,
Right.
how we serve our clients.
Mhm.
And I think um, sometimes you work with people and they're great and they're a perfect fit, and but don't give up, just keep moving on.
Right.
Okay, nope, they already have a home stager, they already have a downsizing specialist, so you go to the next, because there's ample opportunity to keep moving forward.
Yeah. Or
Go
it's a
backwards.
matter of patience, recognizing that you might not necessarily have a full year of work locally booked out immediately, that it might take time to build that book of business.
Right.
So constantly staying in front of people that you want to hire you,
Right.
as well as figuring out what your point of differentiation is.
Absolutely. And I think more than anything, I do work a lot locally. I've
Mhm.
worked with multiple realtors in this Doylestown, New Hope, Bucks County area.
Mhm.
Um, I just know, well, and social media is such a great platform for that, of
Sure.
connecting with them. And just, for this spring market, I created a flyer that I kind of reached out to specific realtors that I highly admire, and put it out there that I would love to work with you this spring, and please let me know how I can best support you. Um, so I've made a lot of great connections. I think it's just taking the time to do it and introducing yourself. You go on Facebook, the news feed's filled with things. So if you don't reach out and put your information out there, you're missing the opportunity. So I think it's really important to be strategic about who you're connecting with. That
Yeah.
it's not hard to pick up on somebody's vibe just from the content they're putting out.
And you're really great with social media. So, can you give our members some tips on what to post or how to post or when to post?
Well, I would say that hire Natalie.
Thank you.
um, no, I mean, and honestly, I think my biggest piece of advice is that it's engagement.
Uh-huh.
Like I have beautiful client approved before and after photos and different things that where I don't feel like there's enough time in the day to even post. So for
Right.
me, I think I'm working. And so by the time I get home, I'm posting at 10 o'clock at night, right? I
Sure.
think it's really good to be, so when you can look at on any social media or Facebook or your Instagram, you can see um, the profile of when is the best time to post. Who are your viewers? Is it
Mhm.
women? Is it men? You can really look it up and customize your posts and your content. And I think, we talked about it a little bit before. It's important to know your clients or your potential clients' language style, right? If somebody's
Good point.
kind of introverted and quiet, you can't
Mhm.
come in blazing with tons of words, right?
Right.
So that is the same thing with social media, right? You'll have people who are just interested in your content and they'll repost it, but the biggest piece is just the engagement piece. And um, I feel like the other day, just talking with you, it was the idea of scheduling your posts. So I
Mhm.
think, I have to be better about posting.
Right. Or planning your posts ahead of
Right.
time, making that time where you can sit down for a couple of hours and plan out what you're going to say over the next 30 days, for instance, so
Hmm.
that you don't feel stressed every day trying to create new content
Yeah.
on a
And
daily
I feel like the
basis.
content's the easiest thing to create. I enjoy writing.
Uh-huh.
Um, but sometimes I feel like we all have writer's block, right? It's just
Sure.
sometimes just you really don't feel like jumping on social media and doing social media. It can be too much.
Yeah. So in those situations where you don't feel like doing it, do you push through and do it anyway?
No, I just don't do it. I mean,
Okay.
or I mean, it just depends. If I have something that I have to push out there, like if I
Yeah.
if I did a segment,
Uh-huh.
of course I'm going to post the same day.
Yeah.
Or for my birthday this year, I posted about my why. And it
Okay.
was a little bit vulnerable to discuss my why, but I think, you know, as in my formative years, parenting was different. We parent different than we were parented, right? So
Yes.
I think now moms and dads are going 24/7 for their children, whether it's running them to sports or a tutor or enrichment or um, I feel my mom did such an amazing job. She was a wonderful mother in spite of so many obstacles that were put in her lap, and my father being sick most of my childhood and dying when I was 12, I think.
Mm.
I think my mom did an extraordinary job. She knew that it was very important to send all three of her daughters to college.
Mhm.
And I think that my sisters and I are all really quite extraordinary because of her. So where I went back and forth with how that post might have sounded, Peg
Yeah.
did it. I mean, I don't know if you remember my mom, but she really did a wonderful job with her daughters. And I think we're all pretty great because of her.
Absolutely. It's difficult being vulnerable for sure.
It's uncomfortable.
I think it's a crucial aspect of your business, though, so that your clients can really understand and relate to you and your mission and why you're doing what you do and how to help them.
Right.
So did you get more engagement on that post
I
than you
got so
did?
much engagement on that post. And
Mhm.
where, like, you know, I'm 48, so I'm losing sleep at night these days. I'm 48. No, I'm
That's not
49.
old.
Oh my God. No, it's not old. And age is a state of mind. It really,
Yeah.
it is, until
Yeah.
maybe it's not anymore. I don't know.
Well, you could just say you're 40, you're still 48, right? Because you just had a
My last
birthday.
year of 40s is what I
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
Oh
I think I went through a whole year of my life where I thought I was a year younger than I actually was. It
my
was
God. I
funny. Or
don't know
maybe I
how
thought I was a year older. Either way, I didn't have the age right.
No, I mean, and so yes, I think that I got really great engagement out of that post, and where, was it unprofessional to share my why? I don't know. I think it's great to really be authentic and transparent, and um, you know, I think that I love helping people edit,
Uh-huh.
but lovingly coming from a place of pointing out the why of,
Yeah.
you know. Um, we don't need 500 books in our house at a certain point, because we could eventually write our own.
Right.
And, you know, books are just an example. I mean, of the amount of stuff that we start to accumulate in our home. And I think it's an honor to help people lean into the discomfort of letting go, because it doesn't come easy for many. I think 3 things that are hard in life are the act of getting started, staying focused, and being still.
Mhm.
And mine would probably be being still, but being real, that we all have so much to navigate, and a life well lived is a lot of work,
That's for
right?
sure.
So sometimes
Absolutely.
you have to delegate certain jobs, and ask for help.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And I don't think sharing your why was unprofessional in the least. As a matter of fact, I encourage clients to share their why because that's how we connect with
Yeah.
one another. And as you notice, it gets good engagement as
Yeah.
well
And
because it
I
is
think
being
that's,
authentic and transparent.
yeah, I said for my birthday, I want everybody to share their why. I
Yeah,
mean, the post is still up, so if you want to share your why, but I think,
sure.
I have, so Luann Kahn is a very good friend of mine, and she has gifted us with New Year's Day brunch every year.
Okay.
And I guess why I'm bringing that up is that she has given me multiple opportunities to think about me, right? To
Mm-hmm.
be surrounded by these amazing women who shared really, we share really difficult chapters of our 2000 whatever, right? We're
Uh-huh.
2020 now. So I think it's been going on 2017, maybe was the first New Year's Day.
Okay.
And there was so much personally going on in my life the first time I went to her New Year's Day brunch. And
Mm-hmm.
um, but I sat there amongst other just champions, other women who authentically shared their difficult journeys. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that to have a strong testimonial,
Mm-hmm.
you are put through quite a few tests.
Yeah.
And sometimes the only thing we can control is the way we react to it.
Yeah, that's right.
So, but having a good core group of people, you're one of my people. You're just somebody that I know that I could call and say, hey,
Yeah, same
whatever,
here.
right? Um,
Absolutely.
I think that you have to slow down enough to recognize who those people are
Right,
and keep them close. And I think
right.
that New Year's Day brunch, what has been a pivotal part of my looking at my need, right? Because I feel like
Sure.
all we do is take care of everybody else.
Right.
And I had just starting to look at your why, or starting to look at your who, and
Yeah.
what is your legacy, and
Mm-hmm.
what is the word of the year?
Right. Do you
What
have a
is
word
your
of the
word this
year?
year?
Did you,
I
did
feel
you?
like I don't have a word this year. I mean,
Okay.
I um, my 1 year was going to it was Rose.
Okay.
So it was just kind of thinking more about what I need, because we can't pour from an empty cup.
Yep.
And I think as moms, we fill, or parents, fathers, we fill so many cups around us that, it's really important for self-care and taking time for yourself. And so I think that it's just more of that, right? And just we help people all day long, and I love volunteering, and I feel like it's to the core is something that I have to do,
Yep.
because it makes you realize how privileged you are when there's an opportunity to help someone else, because we live in a pretty wealthy, achieved area that, it kind of keeps like the competitive spirit alive, but it also, you have to keep it in check.
Yep, absolutely. I agree. So to go back to the word that you had a few years ago, Rose, tell me how you came up with the name for your business. It's just so perfect.
Well, it's so funny. So it just, Rose knows where it goes was the tagline,
Uh-huh.
and it was originally organized with Rose.
Okay.
Rose knows where it goes. What is a tagline supposed to do? It's traditionally supposed to stick, so you remember um, the name.
Sure.
So it had turned in, and Christy Finnan is a good friend of mine. She is Eat Right Bucks. She's
Mm-hmm.
a brilliant woman, and we just, we were just playing around with names, and she kind of, she's like, Rose knows where it goes. We kind of came up with it together, but
Yeah.
she was kind of a big part of the start of my business, in the regard of like, being your cheerleader, being your
Yeah.
champion friend, to be like, well, do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes we
Jump
need someone
in.
to say, just do it,
Yeah.
to peel away the layers of fear and show you that there's nothing to be afraid of. Just move forward and do it.
Yeah. And I think sometimes one thing that I learned very early on in my business is that, I think everybody seeks approval,
Mm-hmm.
and so understanding your client's language is, sometimes people just don't talk as much or compliment or have
Yeah.
anything to say. And so when someone doesn't compliment, it doesn't mean that you didn't do a great job. It just
Right.
means that they're quiet, and they're,
Yeah.
not as expressive. I don't feel like I ever run out of a word.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
I
a
feel
good
like
point
I
that you bring
always have
up.
something to say.
Yeah, but I think it's a good point that many of us do search for that external validation.
Right.
And when we don't get that validation that we expect to get, then we automatically think that we're failing.
Right.
And I think as business owners and parents and human beings in general, it's really important that we find through self-care
Mhm.
that calm within ourselves, where as long as we approve of what we're doing, we need to know that it's okay, that we are successful and that we can do great things, and what we did is great. So the external validation isn't necessary if that's possible to get
Yeah.
to that level.
Right. And just peeling layers back, right? I mean,
Right.
I always say that it's just similar to sunburn, is that we
Mhm.
have layers and layers of burn, of just different things that have happened to our life, and that sometimes why we don't always react the best way is because we're reacting to the situation in front of us, and we're going back to old self-sabotaging behaviors. And it's really important to recognize and love every chapter, even
Yeah.
if it was complicated,
Absolutely. To
so.
surround yourself with those champions, as you
Right.
said, to
Yeah.
help you move forward in the times where you're feeling down or
Right. And I think
self-sabotaging.
we don't always know this story, just even losing my mom to cancer,
Mm-hmm.
or when you're in a difficult time in your life, when you don't know the why, or you don't know the prognosis, or you don't know what the next day is going to bring.
Right.
Sometimes we create the story based on our own fears, right?
Right.
So really taking control of the why, and really trusting the doctor. If you don't, then you go to the next one. But
Yeah.
just trusting that it's all part of the journey. And
Yeah.
I think that gratitude is the cure for most that ails us. So,
Yeah.
you're overwhelmed with the amount of laundry you have and the driving your children to and from. Realize that some people don't have a home or a
Yeah.
washer or dryer clothes. And
That's right.
another parent is dying to get pregnant and not a parent, or driving their child
Absolutely.
to therapy to hope they speak someday. So
Agreed.
when we're inundated and overwhelmed with daily mundane tasks,
Mm-hmm.
just as an example,
Mm-hmm.
gratitude is the cure.
Yeah. And it expands your brain as well. I just saw an article last night or this morning that said that your brain grows when you express gratitude.
Right. And
Yeah.
and sometimes that's our way out of whatever is overwhelming us, is that lack is only going to create more lack. So if you're angry and annoyed with whatever that is
Yeah.
overwhelming you,
Mm-hmm.
you almost have to push yourself out of the box and just, all right, I'm thankful for the opportunity. I'm thankful and whatever it is,
Yeah.
just redirecting your energy.
Mm-hmm.
Really.
I love that. So where do you see your business 5 years from now?
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, I I just I see it growing and
Mm-hmm.
getting bigger, and I've set strong financial goals for
Mm-hmm.
myself
Mm-hmm.
to meet this
Okay.
next year and beyond. And I I don't
So when
know.
you say growing, what do you mean growing? Growing, do you mean changing the type of services you're offering, maybe increasing your prices, or do you see growing as bringing on employees?
So probably all of that, right?
Okay.
I think I have 5 people I bring in all the
Mm-hmm.
time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Mike is a great partner of mine, and when we do, we have to take out all contents of a home.
Mm-hmm.
I can take out a lot of a house actually on
Uh-huh.
my own. I'm
Uh-huh.
pretty strong, as you can remember.
Yes.
No job, no job. One of the clients we work on. But, you know, so I have a team that I bring in certainly all the time, especially in the
Right.
school market.
Right.
But
To
I
do the
mean,
things that you do, would you ever bring someone in to send on a consultation?
so maybe, so bringing in another professional organizer.
Mm-hmm.
I have not done that.
Mm-hmm.
I have this one woman who helps me all the time. Um, maybe creating a team. I mean, I do recognize the older you get, that's my job is very physical.
Right.
So maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I think um, it's good to have a plan. It's good to have ideas and a growth mindset. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that I've also created a business that really organically grew.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't start this business so many years ago saying, "Oh, I want to be an organizing expert for Fox, ABC, and CBS and other media channels." It just
Right.
happened, right?
Right.
Okay, sure, I'll do that. I would love to do a segment, I guess.
Sure. Sure. I guess I
I
could do
mean,
it. Figure it out when you get there,
I
right?
love it. I love
Yeah.
it. I
Yeah.
mean, I had the opportunity, the idea of having my own show, and uh, it made me look at what I really want. And so
Mm-hmm.
that year, I did not want a show.
Uh-huh.
do and it made me. I want more clients.
Yeah.
I love what I do. I love helping my clients create a life and home only filled with what they love and find resourceful. Because by all definition, if you do not love it or find it resourceful, it is clutter.
Yeah.
And so really just, I feel like I love more than anything helping clients, and that year I really just wanted more and more clients, and that happened. And so I think that the teacher in me, maybe I bring a team on and I start teaching people my methodology. I mean, I did an interview on Fox Radio about Marie Kondo when she had her Netflix series, and I kept calling her Maria in the interview. So where like I think our methodology is similar. I think my methodology is very based upon gratitude being the cure for most of the ails us, and creating homes and lives filled with what you love and find resourceful. Because, I mean, we don't all love laundry. We don't all love daily mundane tasks, but they're just a part of a successful company. You have to have strategies and placement of running your company. And
yeah, and when you have the strategies and systems in place, then it makes those mundane tasks happen more quickly and more efficiently, where your brain doesn't really have an opportunity to hate them.
Right. And then just, I think, you know, if you have more than one person in your home, whether it's a spouse or children, or it takes everybody in the house to make it a home, right? So really, it should not just traditionally fall on, you know, the mom who stays at home or the father who stays at home. It just cannot, right? My boys do their own laundry, and I feel like Luke and Logan are working really hard and are having a great school year, where John will do the laundry more times than not. And I'm feeling like you're hijacking my system because I'm teaching the boys how to do it. But, you know, I'll say, hey, Daddy did all your laundry this weekend. Please put it away and make sure you say thank you. So it doesn't become the responsibility on one parent to do everything.
Right.
Even if they stay at home and they are the CEO of the Miller company or the Napoleon, whatever company, right? It's important to teach your children how.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree with you. Well, thank you so much for your time today. Is there anything else that you want to share with us before we wrap it up?
And no, I mean, thank you. Honestly, it's a wonderful opportunity to sit here and chat with a brilliant woman like yourself. And I think that more than anything, I mean, I would just reach out to your followers and viewers, and just, I would love to work more locally. So if anybody's looking for decluttering, downsizing, even packing or unpacking, home staging, and really getting your house ready for the market, and you're just wondering, there's no way I can put my home on the market because I'm not sure how I'm ever going to offload this house, I can help you do that. It's very
I love that. That's great. And send me any information you want me to share, and I'll be sure to include that in the comments below the video.
Awesome.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Rose.
Thanks.
All right. Bye.
Bye.